Welcome in. We're doing an NFL Draft Player Spotlight. I'm your host, Kainani Stevens, joined by Brandon Olson from Locked On Gators. We're going to talk about Anthony Richardson, one of the most polarizing players probably in this draft. There is no doubt he is very, very physically talented, but sometimes there's that accuracy issue. There's questions about the next level. Obviously, we've heard a lot of the stories. What have you seen throughout his career and his time at Florida?
Yeah, I think that you get someone who, despite having all of the physical ability in the world, that he's someone who is constantly working hard, constantly trying to improve and grow. And that's been something where Florida Gators head coach Billy Napier has been saying that incessantly. He's like, there's no one that works harder. He's his own harshest critic. I mean, Anthony Richardson's not even in the NFL, and he's already hired Vernell Brown to be his mentor and chief of staff. Like he's clearly a pretty mature person that's approaching this the best way he knows how to. So I think for him, you're getting someone who has the potential to be great, and off field, not going to really be an issue besides one speeding ticket that he got in college.
Sometimes NFL teams, they love that prospect of getting someone that maybe isn't quite there yet, but they have all of the skills that you can't teach someone, right? So what are some things and what are attributes that he has that literally you cannot teach someone that he just happens to have?
You can't teach somebody to be 6'4", 240 pounds, run a 4.4 40 and throw the ball 75 yards in the air. Like that doesn't happen. He's an alien. There's no other way to describe him, but he's a complete alien. And I think that's the big allure for him. You look at the AFC Championship like 2-3 years ago, whenever it was, when it was Josh Allen versus Patrick Mahomes, and they went into overtime. And that game, everybody was just like, oh, you need a guy like that in order to compete with guys like that. And that's the allure with Anthony Richardson. He can be a guy like that.
Obviously, is it just time? Do you feel like, is it something where he needs some more time to develop into that player, or is this just going to be a high risk, high reward situation with him? He'll either make it or he won't.
I think that he's not being given the credit or respect that he's due, we'll say, because people see an inaccurate mobile quarterback and they go, oh, he can't read a defense. He doesn't know how to play quarterback. Anthony Richardson willingly sits in the pocket, moves safeties with his eyes. He has traits that you find in typical first overall picks when you talk about quarterback every year. But because he's got accuracy issues, that's the big question mark. He's got some mechanical issues he has to fix, consistency issues he has to fix. But I don't think there's a single flaw that Anthony Richardson has that anybody looks at and goes, he's broken. You can't fix that.
Going into the right system, obviously, is key. Is there a team or, a scheme that he really functions well in, or that you see in the NFL that he would be a good fit?
I think he needs to be with the team that's not going to put him in a box. You just can't go, okay, you're going to sit in the pocket and you're going to do this and you're just going to operate like that, because his greatest ability right now is his legs and his mobility. And so you've got to let him be him. That's an important thing that everybody's talked about with Billy Napier, is he lets his quarterback be him. Like, you don't have to be Kyle Trask, Anthony Richardson. You could be whoever you are. And I think he needs a team that's going to let him do that. You look at how the Bears used Justin Fields in 2022. You want to do that with Anthony Richardson in 2023? He can do that if you need him to do that. He's got room to grow and develop, but if you need to throw him in, then you just have to let him use his legs.
What's the ceiling for him? Like, best case scenario, is there anyone that he reminds you of? Like, what's the best he can be if all of this clicks at the next level?
If all of it clicks, you're looking at someone who can genuinely be a top 5 quarterback in the NFL, a top 3 quarterback in the NFL. Like I've been saying for years, he reminds me of Josh Allen. You look at someone who, Josh Allen at Wyoming, horrible as far as accuracy goes, but great mobility. He's got that cannon for an arm. He's got some tools that you just can't teach. Like being a gamer, late in the fourth quarter, passing's not going, defense is sitting in zone. You can pick up plays with your legs, pick up yards with your legs, and make plays. So for me, I think that's a big thing that they have in common. And similar to Josh Allen when he was coming out of Wyoming, there's work to be done. It's nothing that can't be fixed, But if the quarterback is willing to put in the work with the coaching staff and the front office, I mean, you can catch lightning in a bottle right there.
Obviously, he's completely ridiculously athletically. I'm sure he impressed everybody that's on the combine. Where is he kind of projected at this point, and do you think that's realistic for where he might end up going?
Yeah, definitely. I think that when you talk about Anthony Richardson, meeting with the Panthers and meeting with the Colts and meeting with the Seahawks, these are top 5 teams. And regardless of what you think about, oh, he needs too much work to be drafted that early, NFL teams don't care. They need someone that can eventually compete with Patrick Mahomes and compete with Justin Herbert and Josh Allen and Joe Burrow and all the AFC quarterbacks, because that's the only good conference outside of Jalen Hurts. But you need someone that can compete with all of those guys. And if that means taking AR at 1, so be it.
Franchise quarterback, it's what everybody's after. So we'll end up seeing where he goes. Brandon, thank you. Of course, we check in to Locked On Gators for more on Anthony Richardson, where he ends up being drafted at.